My name is Liza. I have a teenage son named Mariano, and I've been attending community for about 2.5 years. It was only when things were not going so well that I would reach out and talk to God, but God was not part of my everyday life. I've always felt like I was in this life alone. There was no one to help me. There was no one saying, you know what, I got this with you, don't worry about it. For the last 10 years, I've worked for the city of Chicago in a department that has been under major scrutiny. I feel like every day walking in there, I feel like I'm walking into the lion's den. Oftentimes I would have to take a minute to sort of pull myself together and work up the courage and the energy to go in and deal with what I had to deal with and face what I had to face. It's exhausting. You know, being angry is exhausting. Being so tightly wound and on edge is exhausting. And I would get into my car and go home. Thank goodness I had like a hour commute, 45 minutes to an hour commute to get home, because I could sort of cry it all out. But there were times when that wasn't enough. I would have to go in my room and close the door and finish crying and pull myself together again, because I'm not done. You know, there's this great kid that needs me to be his mom and needs me to be strong, and he doesn't need to know that that's going on. When things started to get really difficult, when life started to sort of get real, I started to look into spirituality, and I had researched a bunch of different religions, just sort of collecting information and seeing what other religions were teaching and believed. But I would drive past community and I would see the sign out there and I'd go, oh, yeah, you know, one of these days I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna see what that's about. And I did, and I was scared to go in just because I didn't know what to expect. I knew I had found a home. It felt warm and welcoming, and it was inclusive, and it felt like a place of love and celebration, and that's what I was looking for. Sundays became my favorite day of the week. Nothing had changed at work, you know, it was still all the same, but man, if I could start that week in that way, feeling good and feeling joyful, it was a great tone to set to sort of take on that week ahead. I interact with people who I now do refer to as my church family. You know, I know that they're there to support me and encourage me and celebrate with me. Got baptized at Montrose Beach last summer, which was, that experience in itself was incredible. I felt renewed. I felt washed. I felt clean. I've come to sort of really make the connection. Jesus is God, and everything that he did and was and said is what God wants for us. When I found my way back to God, I found peace. For me, it felt like, you know, the ceiling was low, it was dark, and it was heavy. And to have God in my life every day is freedom from all of it.